just about this time last year, this wild Mustang here, Caesar, threw me off right about here actually and knocked me out. I had a terrible concussion. I broke my left arm. I was in pretty bad shape. And so there's some videos I have about it because we were trying to unpack what happened, what caused this really well-trained horse that I had taken as a young animal to the horse expo and rode him all around, and he was better than anybody there. What happened? And so I think part of the problem was actually flies. And so that's why this year, we've really upped the ante on what we're doing to stop fly problems at our barn. And including, I developed a new fly spray that we use here, and we'll talk more about that when we go inside. So let's go inside where the horses that we're going to be training today are already hanging out. Okay, it's kind of loud in here because we have fans on because it's hot, but it really helps them to stay more comfortable, and they like to be in front of these fans. And so if we weren't doing training today, all the horses would be in here standing in front of these fans, but right now we're just separating these two because they are the most dominant horses in the herd, and so they're the two we're going to start working with today. Our little donkey is over there getting some relief from the flies by being in a stall, as well as Dixie, our oldest rescue, who's standing in front of a fan. Oh, our little donkey. And little Miss Dixie back here. So thank you, everybody. Your donations are what help make this possible. The fans and the bedding and the stalls, all the things that we can do to make these animals' lives the best they can possibly be, and take super extra good care of them for everything that they've been through in their life. They all have stories. Don't we all have our stories? Okay, so the 7-step list. So that's something that I put together. Lots and lots of thought went into every single piece of this checklist, from not only my trainer perspective, but also my veterinary perspective. And so the things that you want to make sure that you check before you do any kind of training session with your horse is going to be to make sure they've had some food. Okay, nobody can work when they're on an empty stomach, right? Have had a little bit of freedom. So this has taken a little bit of time because we had to get up and get these horses out quite early in the morning so that they could have lots of turnout and playtime and food and foraging and pasture and herd time and cuddling with each other and nuzzling and rolling and all the wonderful things that they love to do. So they've had a good 3 hours to do that already, everybody together. So they're not they don't have a bunch of pent up energy. They're not hungry. They've had their friends. They still have their friends around them. We've acclimated them for the weather, right? So the best we can by mitigating manure and having the fans, keeping doors closed to keep it cool. And of course, my fly spray, which is right here. And we just made a new batch today because I've been using it so often that we're going through it pretty fast. And in fact, let's talk about that just a little bit because I'm so excited to share with you guys. I mean, flies suck for all of us. I mean, am I right? I mean, if you are a person, flies are awful for all of us this time of year. So what can we do about it? Well, you can go to wherever and buy, really heavy duty chemical things, or you can make something yourself, which is a lot of people do. And if you do and you stumble on something that you really like, great, because that's the best for you, right? Then you're saving money, and that's all I want. I want the best thing that is going to cost you the least, right? That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm the life coach for people with pets. But I have made Dr. Q's shoe fly and wound care spray, and I've made it based on using different formulations of essential oils all last summer, the last few weeks of this summer, adding different oils, doing more studying, taking things out. Does it still work the same? Adding something else, listening to suggestions. And after a lot of study, I've come to the conclusion that this simple all-natural formula is the best. And so that's what we use here, and that's all we're going to be using for now because it works really, really well. And so we're really excited about it because it's natural. you don't have to worry about getting on your hands or anything like that. So I am so excited because today we are actually going to start training. And one of the things we have to do before we start training is we have to get everything ready. And what I got ready for these horses to start with are these 2 halters. And here's a few things that I'd like to say about these halters. This particular halter is one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. Number one, it has padding here at the pole, and so that's more comfortable. If you're going to be doing like a 1.5 or 2 hour training session, it's kind of nice for them to have a more comfortable halter. Of course, I prefer nylon to leather. Over across the noseband here, we're going to have also some padding, which is really nice. Here, we're going to have a hook so that you can have 2 alternate ways of removing and using the halter. The other thing that we really like about this halter that's unique is that it has this movable ring here at the bottom rather than an affixed attachment that gives you more flexibility and makes it easier sometimes to get a hold of the horse. And finally, an adjustable nose piece as well. So this is the most adjustable. It's great. So we can use it here on the bigger horses or the donkey who has a gigantic face, or we can make it smaller for the little Mustang fillies, and it works great. A couple of other things on this equipment next. Number one, these are the only clips that I like, these bull clips. Okay, so the other ones with the little tab that pull down and then releases and goes back up. Sorry, I don't have an example of one, but I think all of you guys who know anything about horses have been around buckets, you know what I'm talking about. So those really aren't great. We don't have a lot of them around here for me to show you. This is much better, much more durable. You're gonna get your money's worth out of this over the years. This thing is real hard to break, but real safe, okay? My favorite kind of attachment for sure. Then the lead rope that you're going to use, we're always going to use a cotton lead rope. My apologies, this one's not clean. It is actually used, people. So that's what we did is we got 2 of these halters and lead ropes, got them ready. I have 2 mats that are over here because we're going to have the option of maybe doing some mat placement training. I have cones over here. You never want hungry or needing a snack or anything like that to get in the way of you in your training session. And so what we do to help minimize that problem there is we actually have preloaded these hay nets with some grass and a little bit of alfalfa. Now, again, they've already eaten, they've been out there resting, they're having nap time, so they're not super interested in snacks. But when we start working with them, if they get anxious and need to like blow off some excess energy, this is the place where they can come and do that, because they're of course going to be allowed to roam free from there through this hallway to here and then out into the round pen where the real work and training is going to happen along with trailer loading. So I cannot tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited to be offering this horse training clinic today. It's really going to be transformational. The one that we did the first weekend was great because it was the horse training masterclass live. So we did that for 3 whole days. And even though it's so much fun to review all of that stuff and be reminded of all the things that you forgot from the last time that you saw the class, now today we're going to be able to put it into action. So we're going to show you what it looks like to start from scratch, right? You know, so this is a very common scenario that we have with horses where you get an older horse, maybe it sits around for 3 or 4 or 5 years, or maybe you get injured and you're sitting around for a year or 2 before you can get back to actually wanting to get on that horse and put him in the trailer and go down the trail, right? And so there's always that like first few interactions, and what do those look like, and do they remember, are they going to be hard to catch, you know, all those things. And so we're going to go through all of that and do it all from a positive reinforcement way, meaning that they have a choice in all of it. It's going to be amazing. The videos are going to go onto my membership site that is coming up soon. So that's another thing that we did with the horse training masterclass is I re-recorded the whole thing, added a bunch of new updates so that it's way more fun and engaging than the first one was, let's be honest. And so I'm really proud of it, but we re-recorded the whole thing in like 38 videos so that you really get a deep dive into all of these positive reinforcement training concepts. So one more thing I want to show you over here is going to be what we did to get another couple of things that we had to overcome this morning. One was Caesar the wild Mustang, who opened the gate and let himself in. So we had separated everybody around after they had their turnout time this morning, and that little stinker opened the gate. So we had to do extra around there before we could start our training lessons today, so that he didn't let himself in and join the party. But that shows you about positive reinforcement, right? I mean, these animals are literally opening the corral to try to get into your training session because they're so much fun. Everybody's having a blast. And so here's what we got ready for them for the training session. So this is going to be very thoughtfully measured out what we're going to use for our training. This is for the older mare who is not thin, so she doesn't need a lot of extra grain. So we have actually just Timothy pellets in here that have very low calorie, but hopefully will still engage her. She can be hard to always keep engaged with food. She will get more anxious. And so we have to also have another couple of options to try to keep her engaged if she gets bored or tired of the pellets and still gets frightened of us, because we don't want her frightened of us. And the best way to prevent that is to just have food for her. So this other horse there, this chestnut gelding, this is his bucket. So he tends to be on the thin side, and so we have quite a bit of senior for him so that he can get that in his training session, some carrots, some other treats. Now, he does not get alfalfa because he has a tendency for bladder stones, and so because of that, we keep the alfalfa out of his diet for now. But we prepped all of this, including having 2 small feed pans. These are the ones that I like to use best for training sessions because you can do a couple of little things. Number one, you can put a little bit of food like that and put it on the ground, and that tends to keep their body stationary, which can be really helpful when you're teaching something like mat, like that. The other thing that I like about these is that you can put it like right underneath the horse's nose if you're trying to give them a medication, and you can almost hold it like right there, and then if they, as they're chewing, if some falls out, you can put the bowl back to their mouth to help keep it there. So if you're feeding medication, this is a better one as well. Again, I'm the life coach, guys. I'm going to tell you all the things about how to have horses the very best way that any of us can possibly have horses. So if you want to get your horses trained, or if you find yourself in one of those situations where you haven't been on them in a while and you're a little bit nervous and so forth, man, join us. We're going to have a blast. I mean, these 3 days are going to be absolutely transformational. So in the traditional horse training world, it's always like, oh, go put 30 days on them, right? That's what everybody thinks. But with positive reinforcement, we're going to show you that it can be done in 3 days, and it's going to be super easy and super fun and way more effective, and it's going to get you where you want to go way faster, right? So I'm so excited to share all this with you, and I can't wait to see you right here. Please subscribe. Join the community on the channel. There's actually a place now called Community where you can put your own horse training questions, comments, pictures. So I would love to start a community of people and their positive reinforcement success. Oh yeah, I know. We pretty much should kind of rename this place like the Chipmunk Ranch, because there's one over there too. The chipmunks are so cute. Okay, so thank you, everybody. We're going to get started with training and then do some recorded videos, which will actually not be available. They're only going to be available on my membership site, which is coming up. So if you need fly spray for your pets, it's all natural. So give me a call and let me know, but probably we can use it on whatever kind of other animals you have too. And get your shoe fly spray from Aspen Park Vet Hospital. Join us at our next 3-day training clinic, positive reinforcement training clinic, that we're going to have in a couple weeks. And otherwise, have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you right here next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.